Introducing my next special guest on my show now, featured artist. I have Mishaal Tamer joining me on my show. Welcome, Mishaal. Where in the world are you zooming in from today?
Hi, thank you for having me again. You see me from KSA, Saudi Arabia, Jeddah.
Great. Welcome to my show. Just chatting to you about your new single, All Night Long, and you have an accompanied EP with this as well.
That's correct. Yes.
Brilliant. So going back to the start, you have been on quite a musical voyage, haven't you? I read somewhere you sustained an injury when you were about 9 years old, and that put you onto the path of music. Is that right?
That's right. Yes. So when I was 9 years old, I mean, I had music. I had interest in music before that, of course, but I never had really picked up an instrument until I had turned nine and severely injured my left arm. And this left me with nerve damage all across my left hand and fingers. And essentially, if it hadn't been for the guitar, practicing the guitar, which was physiotherapy, I would have been handicapped today. So
Do you remember
it saved me.
yes? Do you remember the first time you walked into that recording studio? What was that experience like?
So that was not when I was 9 years old.
No.
Actually, it took a long time before I could walk into a recording studio. So Saudi Arabia before 20, like not many people know much about my country, unfortunately, and that's because for the past 20 years we were in this sort of ultra conservative closed up time, and it was only 2017 that it opened up, and even public music performances got legalized in 2017. Spotify ban was lifted in 2017. All this stuff started changing in 2017. So that's when I made my first Instagram account. I was not really a big fan of social media before then. Like I never really used it, and I was like a teenager. I made like this little clip of a video, like a 10-second clip of a song, "Can't Love Myself," which goes like, "Girl, I love you, I can't love myself." And then it didn't blow up on Instagram, but it ended up blowing up on SoundCloud, and today it has over 90 million streams from that little thing. And then I started getting reached out by other producers in the lo-fi community and stuff. I didn't know what lo-fi was, and then like I was just making music with what I had. I would use my Xbox microphone to record my music and my laptop, from straight from my bedroom, really. And people, it started doing really well, like online, and people were saying, "Oh, Mishaal Tamer lo-fi," or it was before Mishaal Tamer. I was just Mishaal at the time, and it was lo-fi music. It's like, what is lo-fi? Like, I don't even know what lo-fi is. It was lo-fi by necessity, not by choice. And then I became the first Saudi Arabian to sign to a major record label because of the music coming out from that time, and a music video, Arabian Nights, which I did with my cousin when I returned to Saudi. And then the first, like the proper, like recording studio where I went to started living in was actually during COVID. I struck a deal with the manager of the studio, East Side Sounds, and an engineer called Greg Recchia as well. And these two guys became like my closest friends. And all through COVID, we stayed together in this little recording studio in New York. And during that 2 period time, I learned how to play the drums. Before that, I only knew guitar, but there I learned how to play drums and piano and bass and a little bit of sax and stuff.
So that was a little bit
Yes,
about a little bit of how you got into
eight
your
800
music.
songs were made. Yeah, and
Mm.
but here's the thing: the album that what's it called? The EP it's chapter one of my debut project, my debut album, which is called "Home Is Changing." And that's because this all started because back home, like the change is happening. Imagine you're not allowed to. Imagine music. Public music performances are illegal, man.
Mm.
Imagine going from there to all of a sudden having like the largest music festival in the world. It's insane. And there's also a story within that's a coming of age story for all the young people. And right now, there's no one talking about their story. There's no one talking about this story with me. Nobody. And that's the first part of it. That's the first chapter of that story. It's the deep chapter one of Home Is Changing.
Do you think
That's
do you think your story will inspire other people to follow that path onto music?
I mean, here's the funny thing is that actually was happening before the music came out. Like I was just showing like little clips of the music and stuff where like people would make leaks. A lot of people sometimes would like sneak get into this. I don't know how they would get these files. Like but or like interns in the studio would like release files, and like they would blow up on SoundCloud and stuff for like in the underground scene here in KSA. So and people, a lot of the thing, it's like I didn't realize this, by the way. I thought that my story was unique to me. That's what I thought at first. And when I was making these songs, I was not even in Saudi Arabia. I was in New York. But that change, that huge change coming from Saudi to New York is so akin to the change that's been happening here at home within itself through time, and through all this thing through the entire country opening up. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for sharing your journey. It's very very interesting. The transition from how you done that. I just wanted to talk about your new single as well, All Night Long, and your EP as well.
Sure.
You got a few exciting tracks on there, like Disco Cowboy, and there's a track called Superman and Cigarette, and one of them is called Sinner as well.
Yeah, that's right.
And your EP is called The Deep, and does it take the listener on a bit of a journey again?
It does, yeah. So the deep, this is a time. It's actually a period of my. It's something I like to call a period of my life. I call it. Oh, I was in the deep. You know, it's like these like 2 years, I'd say, or maybe three, where it was basically I was spiraling into these really bad decision making. This time of just bad decisions, falling to vices. I came from a really conservative background, so then when I came to the West, I got exposed to all of this stuff at once, and like I fell deep into it, and eventually I hit a rock bottom, and that's where the story begins. So that song that you mentioned, Disco Cowboy, it actually starts with the lowest note of this broken piano that I have at home, and that's because that you can only go when you're rock bottom, you can only go up from there. So
Because
that's like a little hope.
when you think of Disco Cowboy, you think that's a fun title for a song.
um, uh, so it was kind of, it's funny, the deep, it's like this is like the darkest period of my life, right? And so ironically, during this time I was very lonely, and I would make these characters in my head, like there's a certain version of Superman who's an Uber driver, or there's the Disco Cowboy who's like this depressed like guy who's like he's wearing a suit filled with receipts on it, and he's in a club where everybody hates him, and he hates everybody. And I don't know, it's really weird. You're gonna have to check out the project if you're interested in it all, if any of that like intrigued you in some way, or you like thought, oh, that's weird, or if it piqued your interest or whatever, you can check it out. Like these characters are in music videos that
And
are for the deep.
your music's also available. Is it worldwide now on, like, say, do you know all the streaming
Correct.
services? That's good.
Yes. It's available all over the world.
That's good. How does that feel?
That feels insane. I never thought it would be possible to be a musician. So the fact that I'm like that somebody's like, dude, if you're listening to this right now, like I can't believe you exist and are listening to this right now. And if you like my music, or if you're gonna go and listen to the music, I love you in advance, man.
Wow, that's nice words there. You recently supported One Republic on a European tour as well. What was that experience like, and what did you learn from touring with a band?
They're my heroes. They're actually the first pop rock band to come to my country and play when the music performances got legalized. So I think that's like crazy incredible for them to do. Their lyrics have always been like, you can tell they're a band with good intentions, and they're a band, they're good people, and meeting them in person as well, they're incredible people. And Ryan Tedder himself, like I have to say, the guy is a genius. I look up to him so much, and we like I don't know, I just, whenever I'm around him, I just try to ask as many questions as possible, because what a mind. I mean, he's a songwriting legend, um and an incredible pop star, rock star, businessman. I can't say enough good things about the guy. I mean, this was the most, so far, the greatest experience of my life, going on tour with them for the European leg of their tour, and thank God it was a success. I mean, I was sweating bullets, but thank God it was a success, and now we're going with them again, actually, on their Asian leg of the tour, and even some Middle Eastern countries too, which I'm excited about.
That's great. And what does the future hold for you? Like, going into 2024, things can only get better, as they say.
Yes. Hopefully, I think I'm just going to try to keep keep grounded and keep working on my craft and trying to improve every day. And I hope that the people out enjoy what's coming.
Fantastic. Well, Mishaal Tamer, thanks for joining me on my show and sharing your experiences as well. Very inspirational as well. Joining me on today's show. And also, me to do is play one of your records. And we're going to get this track on my show now for you all night long. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for joining me, man.